Turning 60 isn't the end of the road. It can be the beginning of a more peaceful and meaningful chapter. But let's be honest, our bodies aren't quite the same as they were at 30 or 40. They speak to us more often now, not with words, but with little signals, tiredness, discomfort, forgetfulness, just like Mr. Rahmat. He rarely complained before, but recently he's been feeling unusually tired, forgetting small things, and sometimes feels a strange pressure in his chest. He thought, maybe it's just age, but is it really just that? The truth is, not every sign should be brushed off as just getting older. Especially after 60, listening to your body can literally save your life. Why being alert matters after 60 as we age. Our bodies go through many changes. Organs slow down, our immune system isn't as strong, and small problems can quickly become serious if ignored. Unfortunately, many people assume minor symptoms are just part of aging, but some small signs can actually be early warnings of heart problems, diabetes, stroke, even cancer. In this first part, let's talk about the physical warning signs, the ones that seem small, but could be your body's way of asking for help. Chest pain or discomfort. Chest pain isn't always a heart attack. Sometimes it's just a tightness, a burning sensation, or a strange pressure. Mr. Rahmat once felt like a heavy stone was pressing on his chest after a short walk. He assumed it was nothing. But after a checkup, he learned he had high blood pressure and signs of heart trouble. Important reminders: if chest discomfort happens during activity and eases with rest, it might be angina, a sign of heart disease. If the pain spreads to the left arm, jaw, neck, or back, especially with sweating or nausea, go to the hospital immediately. That could be a heart attack. Unusual shortness of breath. Breathing is automatic until it's not. If you find yourself gasping after simple activities like walking to the kitchen or climbing stairs, don't ignore it. Also, if you feel breathless while lying down and need more pillows to sleep, that's a red flag. Possible causes include heart failure, when the heart can't pump blood properly, chronic lung diseases like COPD or asthma, anemia, lack of oxygen-carrying red blood cells, unplanned weight loss. Losing a few pounds without trying may sound great, but it could be your body's cry for help. If you're not dieting, but you've lost over 5 kilos, around 11 lbs in 2 to 3 months, something's wrong. It could be a sign of overactive thyroid, hyperthyroidism, diabetes, chronic infections like tuberculosis, digestive tract problems, including cancer, other types of hidden cancers. Watch your appetite too. If it disappears, or if you feel full quickly or feel nauseated often, consult a doctor. Extreme fatigue that doesn't go away. We all get tired. But if you feel tired all the time, even after a full night's rest, that's not normal. Imagine waking up already feeling exhausted. No heavy work, no stress, but your energy is gone. This kind of fatigue might mean heart problems, thyroid issues, diabetes, anemia, blood cancers like leukemia. Don't wait until you're too weak to stand. It's better to act when your body whispers, before it starts to scream. Difficulty swallowing or frequent choking. Occasional choking can happen to anyone. But if you find yourself often coughing or struggling to swallow, take it seriously. Possible causes include mini strokes or nerve issues, early signs of Parkinson's disease, throat or esophagus cancer, chronic infections, or inflammation. Mr. Rahmat felt like something was always stuck in his throat. After a medical check, doctors found chronic irritation in his esophagus, which could have led to serious illness if left untreated. Skin changes and slow healing wounds. Our skin tells stories. Watch for new spots or growths, moles changing color, size, or shape. Small wounds, especially on the feet, that don't heal. These could be signs of skin cancer, melanoma, diabetes. Poor blood circulation. Early detection can make all the difference in treatment success. Frequent dizziness or fainting. Getting dizzy now and then isn't alarming, but if it happens often, especially when standing up, it may signal a problem. It could mean low blood pressure, heart rhythm problems, inner ear disorders, which affect balance, Sudden drops in blood sugar, and if you ever faint, don't ignore it. That could mean your brain isn't getting enough blood or oxygen, an emergency situation. Listen to the small signals too. Many people dismiss these symptoms as just age, but your body knows when something's off. You just have to listen closely. The goal isn't to panic, but to be aware. Visit your doctor. Check your blood pressure, blood sugar, and get routine screenings. After 60, it's easy to focus only on the body, aches, stiffness, fatigue. But there's another part of us that often sends quiet signals too. Our mind. Sometimes it begins with little things. You forget where you placed your glasses. You struggle to remember a common word. You feel anxious without a clear reason. Or your mood shifts from happy to sad in just a few hours. Mr. Rahmat, who used to be calm and cheerful, began snapping at his wife over small things. He forgot names of familiar places and didn't enjoy his morning walks anymore. His body looked healthy, but something was going on inside his mind. That's why today, we're going to talk about mental and emotional warning signs you should never ignore after age 60. These signs are often misunderstood or dismissed, but they can be early indicators of deeper issues. 1. Memory loss. That disrupts daily life. Everyone forgets things sometimes. But when forgetfulness becomes frequent and disruptive, it may be more than just aging. Watch for signs like forgetting recently learned information, repeating the same questions over and over, getting lost in familiar places, struggling to follow simple instructions. These signs could indicate mild cognitive impairment or even early-stage dementia or Alzheimer's disease. It's not about forgetting where you parked your car. It's about forgetting how to drive, or forgetting the way home. Early diagnosis matters. There's no cure for Alzheimer's yet, but early care can help slow the progression and improve quality of life. 2. Sudden mood changes or ongoing sadness. Have you felt unusually sad for no reason? Or perhaps you get irritated more easily than before? Depression is not a normal part of aging, but it is very common among older adults and often goes unnoticed. Symptoms to watch: persistent sadness, hopelessness, or emptiness, loss of interest in hobbies or activities, difficulty sleeping or sleeping too much, thoughts of death or suicide. Older adults may not always say, "I'm depressed." Instead, they might complain about physical problems like headaches or fatigue. If you notice these signs in yourself or a loved one, don't ignore them. Talk to a doctor. Depression is treatable, even in later life. 3. Increased irritability or anger. Aging should bring peace, but sometimes it brings short tempers. If you or someone you love becomes easily angry, especially over small things, it could be a sign of something deeper. This could indicate anxiety, depression, early cognitive decline, frustration due to hearing loss or communication problems. Mr. Rahmat used to laugh easily, but now, even a small delay in dinner made him upset. His wife didn't understand why, until they learned it was connected to stress and early-stage memory issues. 4. Confusion and poor judgment. Do you find it harder to make decisions? Or do you sometimes struggle to follow conversations or instructions? These could be signs of dementia, stroke-related brain damage, vitamin deficiencies like B12, reactions to medication. Watch out for paying bills twice or not at all, falling for scams or making strange purchases. Getting confused about time, place, or people. Confusion may come and go, but if it happens often, especially along with forgetfulness or mood swings, it needs attention. 5. Trouble speaking or finding words. Sometimes the brain knows what it wants to say, but the words just won't come out. It might start with replacing words with similar ones, book instead of phone, long pauses in conversation, trouble following fast-paced speech, repeating phrases or stories. If these issues are increasing, it could signal language-related dementia or even past mini-strokes. Don't be embarrassed to talk about it. These are real medical issues, not a sign of weakness. 6. Social withdrawal and isolation. Have you stopped going out? Avoided phone calls? Lost interest in meeting friends or family? Sometimes this is caused by depression, hearing problems, anxiety, early signs of dementia, fear of being a burden. Isolation isn't just lonely, it's dangerous. Studies show it increases the risk of early death, heart disease, and faster cognitive decline. Staying socially connected is as important as staying physically active. Even a few minutes of conversation can boost mental health. 7. Hallucinations or delusions. Though it may sound extreme, seeing or hearing things that aren't there, or believing in things that are clearly false, can happen more often in older age. This could be caused by side effects of medication, sleep disorders, delirium from infections or illness, serious mental health conditions like psychosis or Lewy body dementia. If someone suddenly seems paranoid, frightened, or convinced of something clearly untrue, don't scold them. Seek professional help immediately. The mind needs care. 2. Mr. Ramat's turning point came when he realized his frustration, forgetfulness, and lack of joy weren't just age. He visited a neurologist, took memory tests, and spoke to a counselor. The result? Peace of mind, a clearer diagnosis, and a plan to care for his brain, just as he cared for his body. You deserve the same. Mental health is not just about avoiding disease, it's about living fully, even with changes. With the right support, older adults can stay sharp, joyful, and emotionally strong. It's easy to overlook the little things, sleeping a little longer than usual, not feeling like eating breakfast, missing a walk, or skipping your morning prayer. It's just one day, you say. But what if one day becomes many? After 60, our lifestyle, how we eat, sleep, move, and interact, becomes more than just routine. It becomes a mirror, one that reflects what's happening inside our bodies and minds. In this final part of our series, we'll talk about the daily signs, the ones you might not even consider a warning but actually say a lot about your health. 1. Sleeping too much or too little. Getting older can change your sleep patterns. That's normal. But if you're sleeping less than 5 hours or more than 9 hours regularly, it could signal a problem. Too little sleep might mean anxiety or depression, pain or discomfort. Sleep apnea or other sleep disorders. Too much sleep might be related to thyroid problems, low energy from depression, early signs of dementia, poor heart function. Pay attention to how you feel after sleeping. If you still feel tired or groggy, your sleep may not be restful. 2. Changes in appetite or eating habits. Have you stopped feeling hungry? Or are you eating more snacks and fewer real meals? Watch for loss of interest in food, sudden craving for sweet or salty foods, skipping meals, unexplained weight gain or loss. These may signal depression, digestive problems, medication side effects, diabetes or thyroid imbalance. Mr. Ramat used to love his wife's cooking, but lately, he pushed his plate away after just a few bites. That small change led to a big discovery. He had developed stomach inflammation and needed treatment. 3. Reduced movement or activity. Do you find yourself sitting more, walking less, or skipping chores? Physical inactivity isn't just about being lazy. It can be a warning sign of joint pain or arthritis, muscle weakness or fatigue, fear of falling, depression or low motivation, balance or vision problems. Even just 15-20 minutes of gentle walking a day can help maintain strength, reduce stress, and protect your heart and brain. If movement becomes difficult or painful, don't ignore it. Talk to your doctor. You may need physical therapy, a walking aid, or changes in medication. 4. Poor personal hygiene. One of the quietest, most overlooked signs of trouble is when someone stops caring for their hygiene. Look for not brushing teeth regularly, wearing the same clothes for days, avoiding showers, a messy bedroom or kitchen. This can indicate depression, cognitive decline, arthritis, making movement painful, vision or smell changes. For older adults living alone, this sign can sneak in slowly. Family members might only notice after a visit. so it's important to check in often. 5. Unexplained falls or balance issues. Have you stumbled or nearly fallen recently? Falls are not a normal part of aging and should always be taken seriously. They could signal inner ear or balance problems, weak leg muscles, low blood pressure, side effects of medication, early neurological issues like Parkinson's disease. Even if you didn't get hurt, one fall increases your risk of falling again. It's better to check it early and start preventive steps like strength training, better lighting at home, or a walking aid. 6. Trouble hearing or seeing. If you're turning up the TV too loud, asking people to repeat themselves, or avoiding conversations in noisy places, it might be more than annoyance. Hearing and vision loss affect communication, mental health, independence, safety. Some seniors withdraw from social events not because they're shy, but because they can't hear clearly and feel embarrassed. Getting hearing aids or new glasses might sound like a small thing, but it can completely change your confidence and connection to the world. 7. Technology avoidance or struggle. You don't need to be a tech expert after 60, but if you find yourself suddenly confused by your phone, forgetting how to make calls, or struggling to use a microwave, this could be a sign. It's not about being slow. It's about losing skills you once had. This may indicate cognitive decline, attention problems, low confidence, or anxiety. Staying connected to simple technology, like messaging family, joining video calls, or using health apps, can actually support memory and mental health. Ask for help if you're struggling. Many communities even offer free tech learning sessions for seniors. 8. Ignoring medical checkups or treatment. Lastly, avoiding doctors is a warning sign too. If you're skipping checkups, ignoring prescriptions, or saying, "I'll go next month," ask yourself why. Sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's denial, sometimes it's simply forgetting, but health after 60 requires routine attention. Ignoring early signs often makes the condition harder to treat later. These habits are not just habits, they are signs, clues, messages, and if you listen closely, like Mr. Rahmat eventually did, you'll see that even the smallest changes can lead to the biggest transformations. After noticing the little things, his sleep, his energy, his habits, Mr. Rahmat chose to make small adjustments. And now, life feels clearer. He feels lighter. Getting older doesn't mean becoming weaker. It means becoming wiser, if we choose to pay attention. So don't ignore the signs. Don't brush off the changes. Listen, learn, and live well every single day.